Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today, we're diving into the ultimate blueprint for turning those huge, ambitious goals into your actual reality, and it's all based on some timeless principles of success.
Okay, let's just jump right in. We all have dreams, right? But seriously, why do so many of them just fizzle out? The answer really starts with a simple but really powerful truth. Just wanting something, just wishing for success. Yeah, that's not even close to being enough.
You know, the foundation of every single great achievement, according to our source material, isn't just a mild interest. It's what's called a burning desire. And that right there, that's the engine that drives absolutely everything else.
I mean, just think about the sheer scale of that for a second. 10,000 failures. That's not just being determined. That is a desire so incredibly intense that failure just becomes another data point, another step in the process. It's not a stop sign. And that is the difference between a fleeting wish and a goal that you feel has to be achieved.
In this pattern, it shows up everywhere. Imagine getting 36 doors slammed in your face. I mean, most people would just walk away, right? But for someone like Fannie Hurst, that burning desire to be a writer was just way more powerful than the sting of all that rejection. It's that persistence, fueled by that deep, deep desire, that finally unlocks the door.
So this brings us to the first really crucial step. You have to ask yourself this exact question and be completely honest. Is your goal just some vague castle in the sky, or is it something you can actually feel in your gut? The whole point is to transform that hazy wish into something concrete, something powerful.
And here's the method for how to do that. It's not about magic, it's about programming your own mind. First, get super specific. Exactly how much money and by what date. Then, create a step-by-step plan. And then, by reading it out loud every morning and every night, you start to embed that goal so deep into your subconscious that it just becomes a part of who you are.
All right, so let's keep going, because a desire without the right mindset, well, that's kind of like having a perfect blueprint but no one around to actually build a house. We need to build the mental architecture for success.
Just think about it for a second. From Christopher Columbus sailing into a total unknown to the innovators today building world-changing technology, it all starts with this unshakable belief that it can be done. I mean, look at Mahatma Gandhi. The man had no army. He had no money, but he used his absolute faith in his cause to mobilize an entire nation and win its freedom.
But here's the really cool part. Faith isn't something you just have to be born with. You can actively build it. And the tool for this is something called autosuggestion, which is basically a way of becoming your own most convincing cheerleader. So here's how it works. You're intentionally feeding your subconscious mind these positive commands over and over again. By repeatedly telling yourself that your goals are totally achievable and that your thoughts literally create your reality, your subconscious starts to automatically steer all your actions and even filters what you see to align with that outcome.
Okay, so we've got the burning desire, and we have the unwavering faith. The mindset is locked in. Now it's time to start gathering the tools you're going to need to actually build your vision.
Now, the source makes this really fascinating distinction. Success isn't necessarily about having a fancy degree. Henry Ford never even finished high school, and he built an empire. That proves the point, right? The key isn't just cramming your head full of facts. It's about getting specialized knowledge that's relevant to your goal, and this is crucial, knowing who to ask when you don't know something. It's about being a lifelong learner, not just a graduate.
Your toolbox also includes these two incredible engines of creation inside your own mind. You've got the creative imagination. That's the spark of genius, creating something out of nothing. But just as powerful is the synthetic imagination, which is more like a workshop, taking existing parts and ideas and just rearranging them into something totally new and useful.
This is such a perfect example. Sony didn't invent some new technology from scratch. They just took an existing device, a tape recorder for reporters, and combined it with the idea of personal, portable music. And the result? A complete cultural revolution. It just goes to show you that innovation often comes from connecting the dots that are already there, but in a new way.
So, now we have the desire, the mindset, and the tools of knowledge and imagination. But a blueprint is totally useless if it just sits on a shelf collecting dust, right? It's time to actually put it into action.
And the first step in execution is a healthy dose of reality. You need to do a brutally honest self-analysis. Ask yourself these really tough questions. But don't just stop there. The source material strongly advises that you discuss your answers with someone who knows you well and who won't just tell you what you want to hear.
This gives you a much more objective look at your own strengths and weaknesses.
Now, let's look at some cold, hard data. An analysis was done on over 25,000 stories of people who tried and failed to achieve their goals. And the study found one overwhelming reason for why they failed. And there it is. The single biggest reason for failure was a simple lack of determination. Now, on the flip side, what define the most successful people? Decisionness. They make decisions quickly, and then they commit. They don't waver or second-guess themselves into paralysis. Ford's commitment to the Model T is just a masterclass in this. You know, everyone was telling him to change it, to make it prettier, to offer different models, but he stuck to his decision, and that stubbornness paid off big time. And this also highlights a key piece of advice. Maybe keep your plans mostly to yourself. You know, opinions are cheap, and the negative ones can easily poison your determination.
So to make sure you can actually see your decisions all the way through, the source lays out this clear, simple formula for persistence. And notice how these rules just build on everything we've already talked about. That burning desire, the detailed plan, shutting out all the negativity, and finally leaning on a trusted group of allies.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most critical piece of the entire blueprint. And that is the realization that monumental success, well, it's almost never a solo act. This is the whole concept of a brain trust. And this isn't just your group of friends you hang out with. It's a formal alliance, a hand-picked team where every single person is aligned on a common goal and brings their unique skills to the table to make it happen together. This is all about the power of synergy. You know, it's that idea that 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. It equals 3 or 10 or even 100. When brilliant, motivated minds combine their efforts, they create this sort of third invisible mind, a surplus of energy and creativity and power that just elevates everyone involved.
And that's our explainer on the blueprint for success. From building that burning desire and an unbreakable mindset to gathering the right tools and taking decisive action. The final and maybe the most important question, well, that's left for you to answer. And that's a final thought to leave you with as you get started on your own build.
Welcome to The Explainer.